Good morning guys, and welcome to another video. My name is Ping, and today we are in a very important city here in Turkey. This is Ankara. It is the capital of Turkey, yet most people will say that it's not really worth a visit, that Ankara is just a big city that isn't worth a day of your Turkey itinerary. But today, I'm going to show you everything you can do here in Turkey. 24 hours. Let's do Ankara in one day. There's no better way to start off the morning here in Ankara than by visiting a local market. This is the local fish market here in Ankara. I'll put the name down here, but it is just full of different ingredients. It's super busy. There are people, hello, there are people coming here everywhere to buy their goods, and all the goods are actually all really fresh. I'm surprised because Ankara is an inland city, but they still have so much fish available, which to me is very surprising. The produce looks absolutely fresh, so if you want to get some fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, this is the place to come and do it. This place, by the way, is referred to as a bazaar. When you come to Turkey and you want to see a local market, you ask people for the bazaar, not the market, because when you say market, people are thinking of supermarket, not wet markets. So make sure you make that clear when you come to Turkey so that you don't end up going to a wrong place or being led into a direction that you don't want to go to. This friendly man here just offered me a strawberry. Let's try it out. That's really good. Oh. Hello.
How are you? Hello. Hello.
Very good.
Hello.
Wow, look at that. That is huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yes. Aganagi. Zaksu. Fiki, yes.
Fiki.
Yes. Abekere? Abe.
I'm good, thank you. There's no better way to meet friendly locals and understand what life here is like for the locals in Ankara than visiting a wet market like this. It just gives you a glimpse into what local life is like here, and yeah, there just isn't a better way. This is how people live. People are super friendly. They're more than willing to help you, buy whatever you need. So if you want fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and literally anything, come here to this bazaar. They have everything. People here, super friendly. Highly recommend to come here in the morning and just walk around, enjoy the place, and just enjoy the market. If after walking through the market you're feeling a bit hungry, not to worry, there are literally stalls here. This stall here is selling so much baklava, you are going to be stuffed. There's a restaurant over there serving some food, a juice stand over here, and on the other side of the market, there's a bunch of restaurants as well, little street carts serving delicious food. So not to worry, if you want to come down to the market, grab some breakfast, that is a perfect way to start off a day here in Ankara. We've come to our next stop of the day. This is right here, one of the most important Roman structures in Ankara. This is the Temple of Augustus. Now, if you know your Roman history, you'll know that Augustus Caesar, he was the one who started the Roman Empire. He raised an army himself, he conquered a lot of land, and Ankara was actually conquered by the Roman Empire at one point. This temple is dedicated to him, and according to these signs here, there are a lot of inscriptions on stones that sort of talked about how great Augustus Caesar was, all his achievements in life. It was basically a big ego boost for him because this entire temple was just bragging about Augustus and everything that he did. So yes, you can obviously tell that Augustus Caesar had an ego. But the structure itself, not much of it remains. It's barely held together by a couple of metal beams. So if you're trying to look for an ancient, well-preserved Roman temple, this is not the one, but it's just an important historical Roman site that has a very big archaeological significance to Ankara and Roman history. Right next to the Temple of Augustus is probably one of the most important Muslim structures in Ankara, maybe even in Turkey, because this structure here is the Hacı Bayram Mosque.
عاشق و شیدا شیدای تویم ما خریداری ناز و ادا ادای تویم ما خریداری ناز و ادا ادای تویم ما خریداری ناز و ادا.
So this mosque is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the reason it's so important is because Hacı Bayram is actually Bayrami sect of Islam, and it was inspired by this Muslim poet Hacı Bayram. So this mosque is essentially like the main mosque for an entire sect of Islam. So for many followers of the Bayrami sect, this mosque is the most important mosque there is. And it's been around since the 15th century, and it is beautiful. I mean, the wooden interior is just stunning, and then if you look at the front, that green lighting, it just makes it so beautiful. The second floor is for females when they worship, the first floor is for males, but I would argue that the second floor has a much better view, as you can probably tell, of the entire mosque. The chandeliers are just ornate. Everything is so quiet, so peaceful. They have some calm flute music, I think, in the background. But yeah, you have to come and visit this mosque because it is so important to so many people around the world. It is really, really magnificent, and the historical value, that's undebatable. I would say that's probably one of the must-see mosques here in Turkey. It's very different from all the other mosques I've seen in this country so far. The architecture is different, the structures are different, the paintings on the walls are even different. It's a completely different style of Muslim art, and because it's a different sect of Islam. So definitely come and check it out. There's a reason why it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So now we are going to be moving into more modern history of Turkey, the Republic era, the era of revolution, when Turkey moved from an empire to a republic. And we're first starting out with this statue right here of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. So if you didn't know, Ataturk is kind of like the father, the founding father of Turkey. And later today, we're going to go to the mausoleum where his body is still preserved here in Ankara. But this statue shows him on top of a horse with some soldiers around him, and then I think a civilian carrying something. But he was a commander in the military before going into politics and becoming the father of modern Turkey. So this is sort of him in his military uniform on a horse as a commander, which, wow, it's really, really impressive. But for now, this is the statue of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk.
One ticket
Yes, one
to
ticket.
museum.
Yes.
This is the Republic Museum. War of Independence Museum, 100 meters.
What, that way, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Güle güle.
Thank you. currently come to one of the most important buildings in all of Ankara. This right here is the General Assembly building of Turkey. It's no longer used today for the Turkish General Assembly, but in the past, this was where the official decisions were being made. It isn't very massive, I have to say, but the history in this place. I mean, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk came here, he was elected here. I mean, there's so many decisions that were made here, whether it's Turkey joining the United Nations or NATO. I mean, so many major landmark decisions were made in this structure right here, and it is really beautiful. They actually have a lot of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk's personal items in the front part of the museum, which you can go and explore yourself, but it's incredible to see the history of this place. I would say that that's probably one of the most important museums for Turks in Turkish history, because wow, what they have in there is just incredible. All the personal items, even upstairs, the presidential office, the prime minister's office. It's just really cool. You have to come and check this place out. They really do give a very good summary of what happened during the Republican era, what actually happened inside those chambers. What did the General Assembly do for Turkey? And I think that if you love Turkish history, or even for Turks out there, you need to come to this place, learn about the history, learn about Turkey, and it's just impressive to see it all put into this one building and the importance that this building had in Turkey's history. Now, entrance into the museum is 15 liras, but the 15 liras doesn't just include this museum, it also includes the museum right next door. So we're gonna go check that out. I'm fairly confident that this was the General Assembly of Turkey at some point. I think it says here 1920 to 1924. Obviously, the only thing I can read from this Turkish sign is the numbers, which is 1920 to 1924. But it's much smaller than the General Assembly at the other hall, which is probably why they built it. They needed it to be bigger for all the representatives to be able to come in. But along the hallway, they have paintings of all the sessions, the parliamentary sessions that took place in here. But even in this place, there's no ventilation. Everything you can see, it's heated by a candle over there for light. It's just so much older. Now, obviously they've done renovations because it's a modern building now, but in the past, I can just imagine how stuffy it would have been for everyone to sit in here and start debating and yelling across the room. Wow, it must have been insane. I would say that that's a pretty cool museum. There were some weapons inside, there were some other random things inside, and of course there was the assembly chamber. But the bummer is that none of it was in English. It's all in Turkish. So if you understand Turkish, that'll be a perfect museum. If you don't, it's still a cool museum to just walk around and explore. Okay, thank you. Welcome to possibly one of the most important structures, not only in Ankara and possibly all of Turkey. This right here is Anitkabir. Anitkabir refers to the mausoleum where Ataturk's body is found, but the place itself, it's constructed in this hill in the middle of Ankara, and the construction process was ridiculous. I mean, the amount of effort that went into trying to make the perfect structure for Ataturk. I mean, for good reason, because Ataturk is like the founding father of this country. But they had a whole competition to see who would construct the best mausoleum for him. Many different structures were submitted, but then they finally had like a combination of different competitors to make the mausoleum there is today. The complex itself is pretty big. So this right here is the Lion's Hallway. It's supposed to show the importance of Ataturk, and I forgot how many lions there are, but it's like the hallway leading up to the mausoleum. So we're just walking up forward, and now we're gonna walk into the halls and see what exhibitions they have on display. Unfortunately, the museum at Anitkabir was closed, but you can still enter the mausoleum. You can still see where Ataturk is buried. And I have to say, it is a very, very serene, calm place. I mean, the Turks, they respect him so much, and just there, either everyone was taking photos or they were really respecting and idolizing the individual who Ataturk was. I mean, he is the father of modern Turkey as we know it, so for them he is a very, very big deal, and for good reason, because he did a lot. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the museum, but they do have some other exhibitions, like the car he used, the ship that was used. I mean, there were some other exhibitions as well. But unfortunately, if you do come and check out the museum. I've heard that it's really, really incredible, but unfortunately, because of coronavirus, they've shut down the museum. A couple things to note about this place. First, no bags are allowed. So if you're carrying a backpack, you're gonna have to leave it with security when you enter the place. So if you have stuff, make sure to keep it light, because you're gonna be carrying that around the entire complex. Next is that the security guards are very strict on timing. So currently it's like 5:30 and they're kicking us out. No one is back there. The security guards are kicking us all out. We have to leave the place. So if you're planning on arriving at like 4:30 in the afternoon or 5, you're not gonna see much. So just keep in mind, 5:30 is a closing time, and it is a very strict closing time. They don't make any exceptions to that rule, and they're very, very strict about it. But I will say the place is really beautiful. The architecture is stunning. The entire place is built of marble, and different types of marble as well. The carvings, the reliefs, they're all really, really incredible. Fit for, of course, the father of modern Turkey. Not only is Ataturk buried here, but the second president of Turkey is buried on the other side of the complex as well. He doesn't receive that much attention, but he is buried there as well. So if you want to check him out, he's right there. It is currently 6:30 and the sun is about to set. So we have made our way to one of the most famous parks here in Ankara. This is Gençlik Parkı. So the park itself is actually quite big, and you have this like huge blue basin that's supposed to be covered in water, but right now it's dry. There's literally no water in here, which means that it's not as beautiful as I thought it would be. But there is an amusement park over there. There's a Ferris wheel, there's some other rides that you can do. But looking out, unfortunately today's a cloudy day, so we also can't see the sun set. But we're just gonna do our best. We're gonna enjoy the park. We're gonna walk around the park. This is like one of the most important parks here in Ankara, and the thing is, Ankara is filled with parks. There's tons of parks you can choose from. So this is just one of the many parks that Ankara has to offer. Unfortunately today, nothing seems to be working. The clouds aren't cooperating. The water in the lake for some reason decided to dry out. So we're just gonna make the most of it. We're gonna enjoy the park, and I'll show you guys what it's all about. So, the question of the day, is Ankara the city worth it on your trip to Turkey? And my answer is that it depends on what you want to see. Because Ankara is a very historical, cultural, political city that has a lot of things to see, but for some people it may not have what they want. So if you are looking for nature, if you're looking for waterfalls, if you're looking for beaches, if you're looking for ancient ruins that are very, very well preserved, Ankara is probably not the city for you. Yes, there are some ruins, but they're not very well preserved and they don't really look great. Yes, there is a mountain, like a hill with the castle on top, but you're not going to see, you know, the landscapes of Cappadocia here in Ankara. You're not going to see beaches, period, because Ankara is not even near the ocean. But what you are going to see when you come to Ankara is a lot of history. You're going to see a lot of old castles, old fortresses. You're going to see museums, tons of museums. You're going to see ancient buildings. You're going to see old structures, political structures that were used by Ataturk. And one important part about Ankara is Ataturk himself. Everything surrounds Ataturk. The mausoleum is about Ataturk. The museums are about Ataturk. The streets all have Ataturk. Ataturk is a very big part of Ankara. So if you're not really interested in Turkish history, if you have no interest in, you know, Turkey, then I wouldn't say Ankara is a city you should visit. But if you're very interested about, you know, Mustafa Kemal, Ataturk, the history of Turkey, how Turkey came to be, then definitely come to Ankara and give it a try, because there are amazing museums for you to see, the places where decisions were being made. You can see the mausoleum where Mustafa Kemal is buried today. So stay tuned for more. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when the next video is going to come up. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.